Welcome to the pre-parade homecoming celebration for Lane College. It is a delight to be here today. I'm Darlette Carver Samuels. I have the pleasure of serving as Vice President for Institutional Advancement and Chief of Staff at Lane. And we are getting ready for homecoming celebration. It's just a delight to have Dr. Latoshia Chism here today. We'll have three guests with us. Dr. Latoshia Chism, will begin our conversation, who is the assistant professor in our education department at Lane College. But in this role, she serves as the president of the Jackson Alumni chapter. Welcome, Dr. Chism. It's a delight, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am Dr. Latoshia Chism. I am the assistant professor of education at Lane College, and I am also the newly elected president of the Jackson, Tennessee chapter of the local Lane College Association.
Well, it's great to have you. Tell us a little bit about what you actually do at Lane in the education department.
I am the assistant professor of education, so I teach a lot of the education courses, and I also am the field experience coordinator, where I am putting our students that want to be teachers into the classrooms of our local community schools.
That is so wonderful. You and I were having a conversation before we actually began, and we were talking about your journey. And I was just I loved your story in terms of that you're from Jackson, correct? You're from Jackson, but then you moved from Jackson and went north. You went to Milwaukee. Tell us a little about your move to Milwaukee and then who you met along the way.
Okay. So I am a native of Jackson, Tennessee. However, when I was 2, we moved to Wisconsin, and then I came back at 6, and I went to Denmark Elementary School, where the Mayor Scott Conger, his mom was my 2nd grade teacher, and that was a pleasure. I learned a lot from her, and I do remember a lot of the things that she taught me. In my journey to Milwaukee, I met several Lane College alumni. In fact, one of them was my principal, and the other was my school, my classroom teacher. So,
yeah, I thought it was just interesting that while you're in Milwaukee, you had all of these alums surrounded by you, and you named several of them. And it's just so interesting that you don't know, the impact that was being made at that time.
Absolutely.
That you had alum who were wrapping their arms around you. And then as you came to Jackson, here were these same alum.
Same alum, yes. And then my grandmother also is a Lane alum, and so she made sure that I was going to go back to Lane College. There was a non-negotiable. You will return to Lane. So, and it's been a great journey with Lane College.
So tell me a little bit about your role as the president of the Jackson Alumni chapter. I know that there are several ways that alum can be connected with Lane. Tell me a little bit about what is your vision that you hope that alum would do for, or even the opportunities for our students and how they can be connected to alumni.
So as the president, it is my goal to make sure that I build a trusting relationship between the future alum, the current alum, and Lane College. I want us to be able to mentor our students, those that we know are our own. I want us to mentor them, and that is one of the biggest goals that I have for us to reach our arms around those students, and then to bring them back into the fold of being alum and paying it forward.
And the culture of that begins, now, as they enter their first year as freshmen. We have the Pre-Alumni Council, which is a program that consists of current students in which you have alum who partner with some of the PAC members in mentoring opportunities. And so I know we had mentioned mentoring opportunities, service opportunities, but then you have special events. You've had the scholarship banquet.
The scholarship banquet, yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
With the scholarship banquet, we brought in the PAC students and asked them to serve as, they served the guests, they seated our guests, they just made our guests welcome. During that scholarship banquet, we also gave 3 scholarships to 3 deserving Lane College students, and that was also a wonderful experience for me. So,
Well, we want to thank the alumni chapter, and of course all the chapters, but I know that this is the host chapter here, and that alumni chapter is very supportive of Founders Day. And then, the athletic banquets. And then again, the alumni chapter will have its own scholarship banquet.
Right.
So that's ways that you can connect through the special events, through athletic events. Right. You mentioned the mentoring opportunities, the service opportunities. And we're just so appreciative of what the Jackson Alumni Chapter has done for Lane College. And then we talk about homecoming celebration, welcoming alumni home. And so what do you all do in terms of welcoming alumni back?
Well, homecoming is always a great time for those that have graduated. We haven't seen each other in years, and so we have a welcome back dance. And we invite all alum from across the world to come and spend with us October 18th from 8 to 11:30. That is a dance. It's a dance, and we just welcome our alum. We just have a great time.
What about that hill, Dr. Chism? The tailgating,
wow.
The hill.
Yes, we want you all to come and spend some time on the hill with us. There are Greek organizations. It's just all types of folks. We hadn't seen each other since maybe last year, and some people hadn't participated in years. And we just have a time. It's the best thing that I can say. We invite you all to the hill to just have a time.
Well, wonderful. We know that, as the cost of an education continues to escalate beyond the reach of many families, we know that Lane College wants to ensure that our students graduate with minimum debt.
Right.
And I know that you're out there, and the alumni are out there every day thinking about ways in which you can give back to Lane financially and making an investment in the work of Lane and just investing in our scholars. So we want to thank you for this time. Thank you for stopping by as you're teaching your classes.
Yes.
And we're so thankful for you and the Jackson Alumni Chapter.
And thank you all for having me.
There's a college that understands you are not defined by your yesterdays, where dreams are rekindled and hope restored. A place of new beginnings, transformation, and honor. Where a Christian liberal arts education is more than a piece of paper. It's where you start your story all over again. Start your story and discover the new Lane College.
I am so excited to have our next guest with us, and that's our interim president, Dr. Donald W. Comer, president of Lane College. Welcome, Dr. Comer.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Excited to be here, matter of fact.
Well, you know what? We're excited to have you.
Well,
and it's
thank
such an interesting journey that Dr. Comer is not a stranger. He is a friend. He's a product of Jackson and a friend of Lane. And I want you to share a little bit about coming back home to Jackson.
Yeah, I definitely am a product of Jackson. Grew up in Jackson, went to public schools in Jackson. Shout out to Jackson, Madison County Public Schools. Excited about how it prepared me for this opportunity. I went to University of Tennessee at Martin. Got my undergraduate in accounting there, left there and moved to Memphis, and been in Memphis ever since my undergraduate years. Worked at a small public minority-owned accounting firm for about a year. I spent about 4 years at Holiday Inns, and then I left there and went to International Paper, spent a couple years there. And then for the last 35 years, I've been at FedEx. FedEx really contributed to much of my post-undergraduate education. I have an executive MBA from the University of Memphis, courtesy of FedEx, and I have a doctorate from Jackson State University that was subsidized by FedEx as well. So those things prepared me for this. The other side on higher education, I spent some time as board chair at Stillman College. It was a real exciting time as I learned more about higher education. And I resigned from a position on the board at Lemoyne-Owen College in order to accept the role that I'm in here at Lane College. So those are the things that have really positioned me for that and coupled with a lifetime of commitment to mentoring and nurturing youth. I'm right where I'm supposed to be at this point in life.
So, Dr. Comer, was it during that time that, and I find it just so, I'm used to calling you Donald, and you
Please
prefer
do.
that we call you Donald, and I just love that. Is it during that time when you were serving on the boards for Stillman and LeBourne that you got this interest in going into higher education? Tell me a little bit about you pursuing your doctorate.
Yeah, I think it all started just from my interest in seeing youth, especially youth of color, to have an accelerated career trajectory. Quite often, our experience and our exposure kind of slows our growth into our careers, and I wanted to do all I can to speed it up. So I ended up on the board at Stillman because I had dinner at a friend's house, and the president of Stillman was there. And we got to talking, and I talked about where my interests were, and she invited me to join the board. And during that same time, while I was at FedEx, because Lamorne Orm was in Memphis, I'm fairly bold around things like that. So I reached out to the president and said, hey, I think there's some things that FedEx could do and that I could help with. And so I got on the board. And once on the board, what I realized was that your voice is amplified when you have a terminal degree. Higher education, more specifically the academy, has a keen appreciation for individuals who have a terminal degree. So because I was interested and thought that that was something that I could do, I decided to go back. And the other thing was that one of my greatest regrets of my education journey was that I never attended a historically black college. So when I decided to go back to school, I made it my business to attend an HBCU. So it all came together. And guess what? The experience was totally different than any that I'd had prior to that.
And I love that you call Lane your hometown HBCU. And I think about how you were a friend of Lane while you were at FedEx, and you supported and mentored our students, and now you are our president. Did you ever think that this was going to be?
Oh man, I never envisioned that it would come to this point in time. And yes, I love calling Lane my hometown HBCU. I love all the amazing things that Dr. Hampton was able to do while he was president. And I stood on the sideline and was always cheering for Dr. Hampton and the Lane College family and all the progress that was being made. And I'm excited about this opportunity to build on his legacy as we step into our next level of excellence at Lane College. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be truly a full exploitation of the power of potential.
Well, Donna, we're seeing the transformation. Faculty and staff and students are seeing the transformation. I need people to check out the walkway, which is the runway. But let's talk about what you're building on. What are your areas of focus now as the president?
Well, we all know that we're in East Jackson, and East Jackson sometimes is a little bit rough. So when you talk about what you see aesthetically outside of the campus, there's a theory called crime prevention through environmental design. So we're leaning heavily into creating a very pleasing design just so that we can be good neighbors, that we're really invested in our community engagement, as well as ensuring that our students have a place that they can call home during their undergraduate tenure that is pleasing and exciting. And we're doing all those things to try to make Lane truly the crown jewel of the CME Church and the crown jewel of Jackson, Tennessee.
Well, you've been at Lane's Homecoming. You have celebrated with us. You know that it's a week-long celebration, but you have been with us at the game, at the parade. Is there anything that you're excited about this year?
I'm always excited about the parade. The parade it sets the tone. Even though it's on the back end of the homecoming celebration, it is the front end of what people in the community see. But guess what? We've got some other things that are really exciting. We're going to invite you to come in on Wednesday at 11 a.m. and participate in chapel with us. Our guest speaker, our guest evangelist, our chief encouragement officer is going to be Tara Jenkins. She is a legacy of Lane College. Her mother Margaret Fuller-Rawls graduated from there, and she's going to come back and she's going to join us there. We're excited about a fashion show that we're going to have. And that fashion show, we've got a local fashion designer, Stephanie Wilburn, who's going to share with us some of her creations. If you've been around Jackson, I'm sure if you've not worn them yourself, you know somebody who has. I'm excited that she's going to be there and be part of our community investment. Also, Prep Curry. Prep Curry is from Memphis, currently residing on the West Coast in Los Angeles. Some of his designs have been incorporated into Banana Republic. And he has designed a very special line of Lane College paraphernalia, hoodies and joggers and T-shirts and even some cups and other things. So we're excited about that. And then we've got a surprise for you, as our Grand Marshal is going to be a notable actor who's going to be looking to shake hands and be part of the Lane College family. It's going to be an exciting time.
You know what I like about you, Donald, is that you bring your friends along with you. I mean, we're talking about Chris Comcast.
Yes.
We're talking about Neiman Marcus Chocolates, Philip. You know, you bring your friends with you. And when you do that, that means that you believe in the work of Lane College and you believe in our students. One last question. Tell me you're still commuting from Memphis.
Still commuting.
Every morning, I mean, you beat everybody to work. Tell me, what gets you excited about Lane?
Wow, it's the students. It is absolutely the students. No matter how challenging my day might be, no matter what obstacle might be in my way, just one walk around that campus, just one conversation with a student, and all is right with the world. I am so excited to have this opportunity to pour into all of these bright minds and to see the energy that they have and the love that they have for Lane College. It's infectious, and I just love what I do. I love this season in my life. And what I'll share with you, back to your statement about my friends coming along with me, one of my favorite books is this book called The Alchemist. And then The Alchemist says that you only have one mission in life, is to pursue your destiny. And they said when you pursue your destiny, all the world conspires with you. So when you talk about the Chris Wintons of the world and the Philip Ashleys of the world and the Prep Currys of the world and the Darrell Bells of the world and all these people that along my journey I've had an opportunity to meet, they're all conspiring with me to make sure that Lane is successful.
Melinda.
Melinda Williams. I don't want to forget Melinda. And if I shout out Melinda, I got to shout out her husband, Tariq.
I love that. And that was really one of our first connections that you made with us.
Absolutely.
Was Melinda Williams serving as our parade marshal. And then she came back and she was the host for, during the pandemic, for our honors convocation. So I love that you are bringing your friends along with us. And we're excited to have you as our president. We're excited about this journey that we're on together with you. And we're looking forward to celebrating homecoming with you as our president of Lane College.
Thank you. Excited to be here and looking forward to all the amazing things that we, not just me, but we are going to make happen at Lane College.
So tell me this again now, Donald. You mentioned this urban higher education and that, you think about, yes, we know Jackson State, their brand is so strong. Tell me about at Lane, is there any... You talk about our programs, that you want our programs to be competitive. Is there any single program that you're focused on?
Yes, you're right. And I reference a lot of books that I've read and people who poured into me. And one of those books I read is this book that's called The Myth of Excellence. The Myth of Excellence says that great companies recognize they can't be great at everything, but what they can do is choose a point of differentiation. And what Dr. Romari has how she's framed it is a differential advantage. And at Lane College, we're deeply focused on finding what our differential advantage is. Now, that's not saying that everything else isn't great, because we're going to be competitive with anything that we do. But we want to differentiate on our mass communications program. We've made a significant investment in that program in terms of the equipment, building out a lab. We're building up the faculty. And with all of the other programs that we have, we're going to differentiate and dominate in mass communications. And we're going to be competitive with everything that we do.
You know, we talk about this transformative power of a higher education, and sometimes it can be difficult to explain that. But when you see our students and the experiences that they have and the challenges that they go through and overcome, and then when they walk across that stage, that's when you see that transformation, but also a transformation that we are transformed during all of that. And just thankful for you having that vision for our students. Thank you so much, Donald. And let me tell you something, you all. My president is the sharpest president of all, of everyone, not just HBCUs, but all presidents. I just want to say that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you. All right, we'll be back with the president of the Student Government Association, Keith Jordan, Jr.
My name is Keith Jordan Jr., a senior communication and creative media major, and I also serve as the current Student Government Association president at Lane College. Coming to Lane has undeniably been one of the best decisions I've ever made. Since arriving, I've been given the chance to explore new opportunities, engage in my community, and evolve into the Lane man that I aspire to be. With no application fee, you can apply for free and come be a part of my Lane College family. So I encourage you to apply today.
Welcome back to the pre-parade broadcast segment of our Lane College Homecoming celebration. It's just a delight to have Mr. Keith Jordan Jr.
Yes, ma'am.
here, who serves as the president of the Student Government Association. Welcome, Keith.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here, Ms. Samuels.
Well, tell me, Keith, tell us a little bit about yourself. I introduced you, but who are you?
Right, so my name is Keith Jordan Jr. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm currently a senior communication and creative media major at Lane College. So this is the last year. I'm ready to get out of here. I love Lane, but it's time to go.
It's time to go?
Yes, ma'am. It's time for the bird to leave the nest. Yes, ma'am. But yes, that's just the basics about me from Memphis, Tennessee, 21 years old. 22 years old. I just had a birthday. I forgot. Yes,
when was your birthday?
About a week ago, September 22nd.
Really?
Yes,
Happy
ma'am.
belated
Thank you.
birthday. So you're 22.
Yes, ma'am.
22 years old, a senior, looking forward to graduating. Let's backtrack a little bit. From Memphis, Tennessee, what high school?
Raleigh, Egypt.
You know what? Raleigh, Egypt, I just remember Raleigh, Egypt having this fantastic band. How was the band?
It's been a while since I've been there. Yes, ma'am. But when I was there, just 4 years.
How was it when you were there?
5 years, actually.
Okay.
I took a gap year.
Oh, okay.
We'll get
cool.
into that.
Okay.
But while I was there, it was actually going through a transition. We had just got a new band director, and he was doing good. He was doing great right before I left.
Well, we want to have Raleigh, Egypt back. I always look forward to having Raleigh, Egypt as a part of the homecoming celebration.
Yes, ma'am.
Raleigh, Egypt was, and I know you said there's always, transition and change, but it's always good to connect with our one of our major feeders, which is Memphis. Tell me, how did you become interested in Lane? How did you hear about Lane?
Right. So upon graduation out of high school, I didn't kind of know what I wanted to do, so I took a long year to think about it. And once that year mark kind of hit, it was approaching about June, July, I was working, and I sat and I thought to myself at work on break, I was like, yeah, it's time to do something. No matter what I do, I have to do something. It'll push me into the right direction that I want to go. So I called up my athletic advisor because I was actually playing football and I ran track in high school, and I asked her to get me somewhere with some money. Anywhere with some money, and she said, I can get you at Lane. And 2 weeks later, I was moving into Lane College.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. Graves dorm.
So did you come in, of course, I know that you're a high-achieving scholar. Did you have athletics on your mind? Were you thinking about playing a sport?
Yes, ma'am. So I actually came on the track scholarship.
Okay.
But the coach that recruited me wasn't, like you said, those transitions. He was moving out as I was coming in. So Lane didn't honor my scholarship, but I stuck with track for about a semester, and I found that I couldn't rely on my athletics. I had to go and find some money somewhere else. So that's when I started diving deep into a lot of things. My first semester, I did the choir. A lot of people don't know that. I did the choir. I I took advantage of that presidential scholarship. I found Lane College Luminosity Innovation Lab. I became an RA the next semester. I did a lot of things.
I am shaking my head because I remember that, Keith. I remember your first year at Lane. It could have been your first semester, but I remember that you were heavily involved.
Yes, ma'am.
And so much involved that I thought, oh my goodness, I hope that he doesn't get too involved. But you were able to manage it.
All right.
And then
I make it look like that.
you made it look like you would, and you made it look easy, by the way.
Thank you. I tried.
But yeah, I remember Luminosity Lab, and I think that's the one thing that's really good about Lane College is that you have some options, and that
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you really want to be involved, there are some activities on campus for you. But you do have to. And what would you say to a student who's coming in? What about being involved, and how much is that a part of your success now?
Right. If I had some advice to give any student coming in looking to be involved, I would say to just get out there, try everything. Like, even if it's just a little bit, you don't have to be a full member. Lane has a really welcoming environment. We're really family oriented. This is where I learned the meaning of community. So get out there, try some things, just go to some meetings, go to some events, and see what they have to offer, and you will find your people, your crowd, and things that you like.
I love that. And what did you find? Because you were in practically almost any and everything. Did you nail down on anything specific, or did you just, throughout these years at Lane, were you still that heavy hitter?
Right. I am. If you ask my peers, they'll say that I'm the man. Always so busy. I do everything. But this story is probably my favorite story about Lane. So I came in as a computer science major, and I'm now a communication and creative media major. And how that happened was I've always found a passion in technology. Growing up, I always loved to play video games. I took my Xbox apart. I asked for a gaming PC for Christmas. That was the only thing that I wanted one year. So I was really involved in tech, and I really had a passion for technology. But I competed for Mr. Lane. And my first year competing, I found Dr. Washington. He found me. He came to the pageant, and he said, you really have you're a natural for speaking and being in the public, and I want you to change your major. And I was looking at him like, you want me to change my major? I've been wanting to do tech since 6th grade, and you want me to change my major? But like I said, I knew that I had to get out there and try different things. So he invited me to Shaw Hall, which is the mass comms department building for all the majors. And I would just be in there. I would sit in on some classes. I would come and I would help them run the shows for the game and the chapel and things of that nature. So I found the passion in communication, and now here I am. I can do things like speaking in front of the camera without messing up too much. Or I can run the camera. I now have some photography and videography experience, some editing experience.
Now tell me, Keith, Lane, I've heard something about Lane Life app. There's an app. Tell me a little bit about that.
So Life at Lane, or
Life at Lane.
Yes, ma'am. So Life at Lane is a student-created platform that a couple of students started. I'm the founder, and Jada Fields is the co-founder. And we felt there was a gap for student voices. On social media, there is the official Lane College Instagram, but there wasn't that student aspect. There are a lot of things that happen outside the hours of 8 to 5 that we wanted to showcase, and that's where Life at Lane comes in.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
I love the energy. I love the commitment. I love that you're including other students and you serve as the president of the SGA,
Yes,
Student
ma'am.
Government Association. And you're just not the only one. We have a lot of more students who have stories and accomplishments that we're so proud of. Of course, we can't share all of them,
Right.
but I'm so grateful that we have you here. And congratulations, and I look forward to seeing the great things that you're going to have.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you're going to leave Lane, but you're going to be doing wonderful things after Lane.
Yes,
so thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Thank you.
And I want to thank E+ TV for this opportunity. Thank you for allowing Lane College to share its accomplishments and celebrations as we celebrate Homecoming 2024. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next year.
There's a college that understands you are not defined by your yesterdays, where dreams are rekindled and hope restored. A place of new beginnings, transformation, and honor. where a Christian liberal arts education is more than a piece of paper. It's where you start your story all over again. Start your story and discover the new Lane College.